Build deep and complete.
Do you know of the water of life?
What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Original again, start from the heart. Not too in deep. I see, I feel. Mathematics, matrix, institutes, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn naturally. Classic.
Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Building education from an African place of being.
Ashima family, blessed love, welcome to the Black Open University radio show here on Bless Radio. This is your host Astamari Bartekun. I am principal for Black Open University and the chair for Abundant Centre UK Development Trust. We give thanks to the one that's just come before, the mighty Omawale, my beloved brother, educating on the depth of right Pan-African knowledge, a real developer of the community. We give thanks to this one. We give thanks to the studio, to all the presenters that have been on today and before. We give thanks to them all. But of course, we must give our salamta, our greeting. Exir Yimasagan Hashima Tawagi Asab, creator be praised. Respect the warrior idea. Welcome to the show. We've got a lot to do today, and yep, we're gonna roll. So let me just give you our jingle. We should have to open with a nice jingle.
uLearn Naturally Radio. uLearn Naturally Radio. You are, I am, we are enough, and together we learn naturally, together we grow naturally, and we start building like chlorophyll does in plants, and we fuse and we infuse and we keep developing, and we take the nurture from the waters and from the rays of the sun, and we keep growing. Yes. uLearn Naturally Radio. Yes. uLearn Naturally Radio. uLearn Naturally Radio. uLearn Naturally Radio.
Build deep and complete. Welcome to the Black Open University Show.
On Bless Radio. Yes, build deep and complete with us on the Black Open University Show. So, first of all, let me just explain the setup. We've got a revolutionary show. We'll be dealing with the ways of unified knowledge. This show will introduce a holistic way of doing education. It's especially for the teachers, especially for the parents, especially for the community developers. We will be talking about pedagogy, but doing it in a very, very creative way. The show has 5 parts, and this thing that we're going to do is going to involve some new language. So bear with it. If you hear some words that you think, oh, what's that mean? What's that mean? Well, the best way to find out is to download our guide. We have a guide for you. The guide is in the WhatsApp forum. So I will be bringing you details of how to get into our WhatsApp forum. so that you can get the guide. The guide has the language. If you have the language, you can follow the show in perfect form. It's our code book. And we need such a thing because it's a revolution. So you need a revolutionary code. Okay, the first part of the show we call Gzat. Gzat means province. This section is about spatial awareness. We're going to be talking every week, just giving a brief introduction to where the moon is and where certain planets are, and just a brief reasoning about this so that we take ourselves off the planet for a broader view of things. Africans, we ancient time, this is the way to think far beyond the physical earth to the whole universe. So the show will help you lift off like this. It's our new spaceship. The second part of the show we call Zena Gize. Zena is news. It's news time. Zena Gize. And we'll be talking about educational news and picking themes, particularly important things in the world of education Pan-Africa that we should reason on. The third section is the BOU Course Insights. We have 4 flagship courses at the Black Open University, and every week I will be giving you insights into how the courses are going for the ones who are taking part in it and explaining how we do what we do. So the first one of those courses is the level being 9, which is for children, preparations for mastery and mastery, centered on learning math with all the sciences, STEM in a steamed up way, using arts to teach science, technology, engineering and math. The second one is educating with unified knowledge. This is our core pedagogy class. It's the one that explains the ways of unified knowledge, or should I say Yitmer Uket, which means unified knowledge in the Amharic language, the language of Ethiopia, the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. The third course is the hair structure science course. So we'll be giving insights on what we've been doing with that. I'm looking forward. I've got a very interesting reference book that we've been working with. So I want to explain some things from that. And finally, the Dankira Tawagi class, which is our African warrior dance, African martial arts class. We'll be giving insights to this. All of those 4 are under the BOU Course Insights section of the show. The fourth part of the show, and you're probably wondering how we're going to do all of this in the time, but the fourth part of the show is the weekly special feature. This week, you are in for a treat. You are in for a treat. We have a very wonderful production. We've been working with one of our members, Yvonne Williams, big up to you. And she has written a very powerful story called Behind That Smile. At the BOU, we've produced it. So it has all the special effects and it supports the story. I'm going to play the story. We're going to touch in a little bit on some of the background to it. But I'm playing it not really just to entertain you to hear a story, but to explain how we use story in education. So looking forward to that. This is our weekly special. And finally, I trust we'll have some time for it. We'll have a Sababu Gize. This is a reasoning time. And we have a code for that. It's a bit different. Callers have 5 minutes to make any commentary on anything that they've heard in the show. And any questions, you can put them in the 5 minutes. Each one has a time like this. If ones want to phone in and do it like that, you're very welcome. So this is how we're doing it. It's a commentary type of thing. Okay, so let me just roll in with a little music just to ease the way. We will have periodic music. You know, this thing is important. So here, a little Kom from South Africa.
sipenjeke sipha moya munye mina nawe mungame sana maungeko maungeke tuze kwami heba soko nyabanda maungeke tuze kwami sana maungeko maungeke tuze kwami heba soko nyabanda maungeke tuze kwami hangalong mambe 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 hangalong mambe 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 hangalong mambe mambe hangalong squeeze squeeze hangalong mambe 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 hangalong mambe 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 hangalong mambe 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 hangalong mambe mambe hangalong squeeze squeeze hangalong mambe 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 agulalegi asambeli agulalegi asambeli siyo jaganam shade gulobi wanam shade agulalegi asambeli agulalegi asambeli siyo jaganam shade gulobi wanam shade
Build deep and complete. Welcome to the Black Open University Show.
Yes. Welcome again. We're going to be flowing. Time is moving swiftly on. And this is the thing about time. I said that the first part of the show is the Gzat part of the show. It's called it Gzat. Gzat means province. And province is a region of space, land, air and mind that the warrior perceives as their responsibility. Today, the moon is making a journey, as it does, as we dance with the moon, the earth and the moon. It appears to be growing. It is 33% illuminated. And next week, it will be over 90% illuminated. Have you ever thought about why that is? This is the real essence of time. Natural rhythms, natural cycles. Rather than flowing with the machine, we need to return to nature, harmony with nature. This is what the unified knowledge pedagogy is all about, harmony with nature. So you will have observed that there was a slight crescent on the moon. I'd like you to observe its cycle over the days as it increases. We'll be doing this every week, so those who tune in will gradually reconnect. And that is what we're about. We're all about the reconnection. If you were observant when it appeared as if the sun were declining under the horizon as the earth turned into shadow time, if you were observant, you may have noticed 3 bright objects. You may have noticed 3 bright objects. That sound there, the background sound, I know it was a bit loud. It's because I just love it in the wilderness, you know. I love to talk from that place. So we give thanks just to ease out the sound and relax. I hope you enjoy those sounds. African landscape. When we travel, we like to pick up the African landscape. So those who were observing as the sun appeared to set will have seen perhaps 3 bright objects in the sky. Now those objects, some people may think, oh, look at those stars. Those stars are very interesting. But they weren't stars. They weren't stars. Those things were planets. Now this is where our show goes a bit deeper than the average. I will be posting into our WhatsApp forum 2 images. One image is an image of the horizon showing the 3 objects, the 3 planets. Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter. They look like they're in an alignment, but in actual fact, they are at different distances and at different places in their cycle. And over the time of our show, as we progress, I'm inviting you all to start to visualize the real nature of the cycles of the planets, so that we can take that broad view. As Africans, we need that broad view. We need to reform education. And this show, the Black Open University show, is all about educational reform with the unified knowledge pedagogy. So I will be posting in our WhatsApp forum. The forum is, if you want to put my number in so you can get us on WhatsApp, it's very fine. Number is 079 30501777. That's 079 30501777. This is our futurist hotline, and if you add that to your system, you'll be able to find us. You'll be able to find the WhatsApp forum. We're under the futurist, and the WhatsApp forum for the show is hashtag BOU Radio Show. Find it, join in, and in there we will be posting all the show notes and all the guides and all the bits and pieces that make the show extra special to those members who are deep enough to go there. Come on now, let's go there together. I know it's a bit deep. So, 2 images are going in there. One is an image of the horizon. I took the image from a software called Stellarium. Stellarium is a planetary software. Every home should have it. Every child should be introduced to it. It allows you to track the movement of objects that may be hard to see because of cloud or nighttime, or track things into the future because the movement of the bodies in the universe are trackable, they're predictable. Mathematics, the study and application of patterns, they're predictable. So you can make software for it, which has been done. So you can have software, so you can see how things will be in the future. Some of these objects, like the planets I mentioned. This is where we're going with our Gzat. So 2 images will go into the WhatsApp forum. One is the horizon, showing you the 3 planets just as the sun sets. This was about 6:30 or so, like this. And obviously time moves on, so those things move on. Stellarium. You'll need this software to flow with the show. The second image is an image of the solar system with all of the planets in their orbital paths. So you can also see, at the same time, you can also see where those planets are in their orbital position. One position, the first one, is a perspective from Earth. The second one is a perspective from outside of the solar system, looking at the solar system. You need these 2 views in order to coordinate and begin to perceive what's really going on. If you just look up on the horizon and you see these 3 dots, first of all, you'll think they're stars, maybe. But even if you know they're planets, it's hard to tell which one is nearer, which one is further, and their motion. So I'm inviting you to go deeper. Gzat, province, a region of space, land, air, and mind that the warrior perceives as their responsibility. Okay, we're moving on. Zena Gize. Zena Gize. Zare is news. And the news I'm picking up on today, it's come from a UNESCO organization to do with statistics. There's an organization, UNESCO, the UN body that deals with education. They have a statistics department. I enjoy statistics because it's number, and number is a tool of perception. So we should look at numbers. We should look at numbers carefully. Number is a tool of perception, quantifying, positioning that which is beyond one and that which is inside one. More on that later. So this organization, the Statistics Department for UNESCO, they have produced a report. It was done in September, and in the world of these kind of reports, that's new. So the report's called New Methodology Shows That 258 million children, adolescents and youth are out of school. This report is explaining that a lot of youth are not in a system of education. And the reason I picked it up is because, unfortunately, the bulk of the youth out of education, in quotes, are in sub-Sahara Africa, as they have labeled it. I have reservations about some of the labeling in this report. I have reservations about many things in it, but we should think about the implications of the basic idea that's put forward by it, and really, we should be able to test it. We should be able to check for ourselves what the numbers are, have our own ways of collecting data as sovereign African nations, Pan-Africa, yes. And obviously we should work with the United Nations and just double check that everything's okay. This is the issue. The basic issue is that the bulk of the children, if you take the total amount of children that are out of school, the vast majority of them are from sub-Sahara Africa. And obviously, I can't do a show where we're going to drill down into numbers and things like this, because not heavily, because I know that's not going to be easy for people to digest on a radio show. But the simplicity of it is that we should question what is meant by out of school. We should question why it seems that on the continent and in the Caribbean and Pan-Africa, by the way, I mean the unity of Africa, across all regions where African people be, including every part of the world, basically. So why Pan-Africa are Africans seemingly having a bad time with education? They're having a bad time in the UK, for definite. We've done work on this. We've done work with in our local area. Obviously you have to start local, so we're based in Haringey at the Chestnut Community Centre, where many of our programs are: Abundant Centres, UK Development Trust, and the Black Open University. And from there we've done a research report on the flaws in Attainment 8, looking at how children are performing under the standard system of education. The way they monitor progress is called Attainment 8 and Progress 8. We looked at it by ethnicity, took the data from the council, analysed it, produced a report, and found that, surprise, surprise, the African children, the black children, are in a deep crack in the system, languishing under the data. And if we're not looking at it, then they'll stay there because people won't know. Obviously, the council, they know. The council knows. The schools know. The school management knows. The teachers at the front, they know. They see it. But you need number to take in the extent of the damage. And so we did that report. And you can also get these things through our WhatsApp forum and on our websites. I haven't seen many people popping in yet, so you have to get through. Find us on WhatsApp. The number is 079 30501777. In this space, we're going to upload numerous things that are helpful to the show. The reason I picked this report, and like I said, I'm not going to drill down heavily into the numbers, but just the basic idea. There is an image in it that touched me. It has an image of the world, and it's color-coded to show where the greatest density of out-of-schoolness is. It shows an image of the whole world in one of those projections. And it's deep because most of the image is blue, which is the majority of the world, meaning there's not a great deal of out-of-schoolness in Northern America, most of Southern America, Russia, the Asia region as it's called, mostly not there, sort of Southeast Europe, West Asia, this region as it's maybe termed. There's some sort of pink colours there, which is suggesting an increase in it, relatively speaking. Then, when you look at Africa on this map, it has a band right through the middle with the darkest colour, which is the highest, they colour-coded it, with the highest density of out-of-schoolness, just thick into the middle of Africa. What does it mean? I think, well, I can tell you what it means to me, and obviously I'm hosting the show, so I can tell you what it means to me. It means that, again, we're still having some issue with this thing called education. And the reason we're having issue with it is because we're trying to use a, in quotes, standard system, a global system of education. But in truth, it's not standard. It's not, it can't work globally. The standard system that we use here can't work over there. And even the standard system we use here doesn't work well here for our children. I've got the evidence. And if you care to look at the statistics, you'll see the damage. You know it already. I know you know, community. I know you know this. But let's not be afraid to pick up the data, because in the data, the number, data collection, data representation, data distribution, in the data is a power to critically charge those people who are responsible for the problem. If you don't have the right information, if you can't explain clearly that you see in detail what's going on and you're not accepting it, then it will continue, because people, they generally sit in a comfort zone. Administrators of local government, administrators of national government, they sit in a comfort zone. And unfortunately, I have to tell you, it's only embarrassment and pain that will motivate some institutions to not disrespect the African child and the African family. And yep, you're going to need information for that. So join us in our show as we analyze the data. Okay, so that document will be in our show notes, and you'll get access to that. I'm just touching through. And like I said, I would love to drill down into it, but I don't imagine many of you want to read statistics on the radio show. I don't think so. So anyway, let's move on. We're moving on to the BOU Course Insights. The Course Insights is just to give you a flavour of what we've been doing in our flagship courses. We have 4 flagship courses. The first one is level being 9. The second one is Educating with Unified Knowledge, Foundation Course 1. The third one is our Hair Structure Science course. And the fourth one is the Dankira Tawagi class, African Warrior Dance. I teach African Warrior Dance. It's a very wonderful thing, and I invite you all. It's on a Friday at the Chestnut Community Centre. All classes, by the way, they need prior enrollment as a process. So if you find these things interesting, enroll, get involved. It's quarterly enrollment, so over a natural season you will be able to get a invigoration of the mind and body to places that we need to be. We need to be free, and the freedom, there's disciplines that have to come to get the freedom. It won't come by just relaxing into the sleep box. The sleep box. You don't mind if I call it the sleep box, do you? I mean, the television or the telephone or the tablet, the thing that everyone is addicted to and zones out to and becomes zombie for. This thing, I have to call it the sleep box, especially for children. We have to call it the sleep box and try and use it we have to use it in the most constructive way. So, invigoration. The first course, level being 9. Let me just explain briefly how it came to get a name like this. The course is for children. We have 2 after-school classes, you might call it, on Monday and Tuesday at the Chestnut Community Centre. It's called Level Being 9 Preparations for Mastery. At the core, you might say, well, definitely it's unified knowledge at the core, but you might say we're dealing with GCSE mathematics from an African place of being. And to do it from an African place of being involves putting it into context, putting the classic ideas of mathematics from an African place of being into context so that our cadets can start to understand what mathematics is about, the value, the real value. So we have a blended learning. We have it integrated with projects, and for ease, it's easier to say to you it's a STEAM class, STEM plus the arts. STEM is science, technology, engineering and math plus the arts, the cultural arts. This is where the Dankira Tawagi comes in, warrior dance, which is drama, which is breathing, which is drumming, which is storytelling. It's performance brought to its full effect with the disciplines and the rigor of science. So the level being 9, preparation for mastery, is that after school class. We focus on that class. In that class, we focus on number, measure, and ratio. Number, these things, by the way, are the classics. Number, measure, and ratio. Kuter, luk, kaful. Number, measure, ratio. Number is a tool of perception. By the way, I'm giving a reason in some definitions and things like this. In the future shows, I won't repeat these things. Not too often. I will repeat them, but I mean not too often, because I want to build, and we're going to do it in such a way that those who join in through the WhatsApp space and get the material and are following through with the reasoning, those ones will build with it. I don't mind what the number is, but I am interested in building. This show is not about you sitting back and just listening and taking it in like Sleepbox. It's not about that. It's a revolutionary show. So it's about engagement. Just in the same way that if you came to one of our classes, you couldn't come and watch. We don't do that. You have to be part of it or you're not there. So it's the same thing with the show. You have to be part of it or you're not there. The people who join in deeply will get a very, very rich learning. Priceless. Coming through your radio. Bless radio. It's priceless. I should mention also, I need to mention that we also have a radio provision, uLearn Naturally Radio. And through that, we provide podcasts. So this show, along with many others, will be podcast on our platform, obviously, as well as on Bless. So you've got multiple places to get the show, and obviously the education notes and so on like this. It's all good. So number is a tool of perception, quantifying, positioning that which is beyond one, that which is inside one. That definition of number, most children at the end of secondary school do not have such a good definition of number. Having done all that schooling, having had number in their face every day, they can't define it. Something is wrong. The youngest child, 2, 3, should learn that definition. Now, some of the words are bigger, but they can be simplified, and we do. And they have to be grasped. So we explain number is a tool of perception. We give the definition, and over time, we go into many ways of exploring what that actually means. First, look. Second, look is measure. The second classic idea of mathematics from an African place of being. Measure is a process of comparing relative size. I know you didn't expect to be in a maths class tonight, but this is the BOU show, the Black Open University show. And so we are about higher learning from an African place of being, and so many things are underpinned by this thing called math. Math, by the way, from an African place of being, it's not just arithmetic. This is the confusion. People say mathematics, and most people in the nation, they glaze over for this. Well, many. They don't enjoy it. They don't realize it. Some people are very, very fazed by it. We have to remove that. Mathematics is simply the study and application of patterns. Every kind of pattern, if you study it, you're doing a kind of math. It's in language, it's in movement. When we just talked about the motion of the moon, that patterned movement, every lunar month, it's going around in the same cycle. This is a pattern. So then you can look at that, and just in your study, you're doing a kind of mathematics. So we have to simplify the meaning in that way, and also go to the essence, the ma'at, the real truth, the real proof, the essence from an African place of being, where the ethics are attached to the mathematics. Yes. So, look. Measure. Measure is a process of comparing relative size. This means that if you take one thing of a length, let's say a pencil, you can measure everything with the pencil. You can say, oh, the height of the room is 40 pencil lengths. It's a completely bona fide way of measuring. Every child should learn to measure many things with many things. I say that, and you might think, oh yeah, we do that, and it's cool. But obviously you have to learn the metric. This is the problem with the metric system. If you do not realize, first of all, that you have to choose the metric, you have to agree to use it, because it is just fabricated. You have to agree to use it. And if a child doesn't have that sense of power, that they could actually use anything for holding the measurement, if they don't have that sense of power, then they're trapped in the metric. And this is a problem, because nature is not trapped in the metric. And so if you're trapped in the metric and you're trying to measure nature, you won't have the right tools. Now, if you're free, when you come to a new situation, you'll be able to find the right measure for the situation that you're in. Measurement is a process of comparing relative size. That is the classic deeper idea of what it is. Okay. Kafal, third classic idea of mathematics. These are things we teach in the level being 9 class, preparations for mastery. There's a mastery class, by the way. So I'm just talking about the preparations for mastery. It's only a short time. We have an hour and a half on a Monday, an hour and a half on a Tuesday. For those families who know that this is the thing to know, we do this. So, kafal, ratio. Ratio is a rule of relationship. parts to each other and parts to the whole. Parts to each other and parts to the whole. Parts to each other and parts to the whole. I felt myself drifting away a little bit there. And oh, that's better. Back in the African landscape. Yeah, we like that sound. Yes, we like that sound. So, ratio. Ratio is proportion. It's important to get the idea of how things are as a whole, how they are as parts to each other, and how the parts are to the whole. This is ratio. And those three things, number, measure, and ratio, they come into every area of mathematics. So if those three things are overstood, then everything else will be easier to do. The three definitions I've just shared are priceless. You should listen again and hear them. If you didn't make notes, you should not let it pass you. And if you call in, then you're going to get to, I'll explain it briefly. But the best place is to come to the class. In the pedagogy class, which I'll come on to in a moment, we explain the method of the teaching. But in the level being 9 class, we do it. We're at the front. Yes. So that's the preparation for mastery. We have a mastery class. The mastery class is a full-time learning. In the full-time learning, this provision is for children from 8 upwards. The promise is that, and it's a full-time learning. That means that you can, if you have the means and you choose it, your child can learn from 1 day a week to 4 days a week, full-time learning at the Black Open University. And they will learn these kind of deep ideas and be engaged in very powerful projects that will accelerate their learning way beyond this thing called level being 9. I didn't explain for level 9, did I? So let me explain that. I hope we're flowing. I hope we're still okay. Are you okay out there? If you're okay, give me a WhatsApp message. I would appreciate that. So yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate the messages coming through. Yep, we appreciate that very much. Thank you, Hashima. So, the level being 9. Level 9 is the new highest standard for the GCSE. There used to be the A, the A to ungraded, the letters. But I hope adults with children know that that's changed. It's changed a few years ago to numbers from 1 to 9. 9 is the highest level, level 9. It's higher than an A star. An A star was the previous highest level. Now there's a new higher level called level 9. The issue is that the system is still tiering the children. That means they're putting them into foundation tier and higher tier. And if your child is in foundation tier, then they can only score up to 5 out of this 1 to 9. That means that they cannot get level 9. Even after they complete all of their study, they come to the end of the schooling, if at the beginning of secondary school, they have been put in for foundation tier and they do not escape it, then they cannot get level 9. Level 9, you see, is for the leaders. It's for the best. It's for the best of the best. You know, is your child the best of the best? Is your child one of the best? Do you feel that your child is of that standard? How much do you value it? How much do you care that effectively your child may be trapped in an educational system that has no real regard for their true potential? We do work in schools, by the way, and so if you're a school teacher out there, I know it sounds like I'm slating the schools, but if you're a school teacher, then you know how the schools are, and I'm just being honest. I have to be fresh for my people and just give it as it is. So if you're a school teacher, head of school, head of a department, maths department, science department, art department, you're thinking, oh, this is interesting. How did he do all that? Does he really teach those things? Do they really do those things? Teaching math through cultural arts? Yes, we do. And you should bring us into your school. It will be very educative. We will help raise the attainments and the engagements. And so we do that. We go into schools. So I'm not averse to that for you teachers out there listening. But I do have to explain it properly for the parents because no one else is doing it. So if your child is on foundation tier, they can't get to level 9. If you think your child has a natural talent, even if you don't think they have a natural talent, the truth is they do. And we have to build it. And we have to push it. We have to open the way for it. We can't block the way by putting them in a group where they cannot go beyond a certain point, where they sit in a class with other children, a small group of children in the class who are doing the higher tier work, and the rest of them are doing the lower tier work, and they have to live through that for years. Oh, you over there, you ones at the top, you do these exciting, brilliant things that will expand your mind. Oh, and everyone else, you're on foundation tier, you don't need to worry about that. Your future is set. Come on now. You know it's unacceptable. So, yeah, it's unacceptable. So, our course, our program, level being 9, means that we are only aiming for level 9. All cadets are aiming for level 9. We're not doing foundation. Wherever they are, our argument is that if the family get behind the learning and we work together in community of learnership, learner cooperative, then we can secure the highest standards for our ones. To get the level 9 standard, I don't want to go too deeply into this right now, but just to say, to get the level 9 standard, we can't aim for level 9. You've got to aim way beyond it and then be comfortable. Where you're comfortable is level 9. So that's a different way of thinking about things. And if your teacher, the teacher at your school, is telling you that your child is not ready for higher tier, you need to think about what's being said to you and come and talk to us at the Black Open University. So the mastery class is like this now. It's a proposition where a child from 8 could learn and gain competence and consciousness of level 9 GCSE math in a shorter time, in a deeper way, and obviously at a younger age than would normally be expected. Our whole model is different. The idea is that the child should concentrate on a few core subjects at the early stage, master them, and then anchor that, use that as an anchor point to build on the other subjects. So when we're teaching the math, we're doing it in connection with all of the sciences, STEM, and we're doing it in context of great projects, really grand projects like a high altitude balloon project or the triple darkness space probe. I'm not joking. So, yeah, these are the ways, and I will leave you to find out more about it. Next time, next show, we will definitely speak on more nitty-gritty things to do with that. Educating with Unified Knowledge, Foundation Course 1. This is the pedagogy class. In this class, we teach the principles, processes, and protocols of unified knowledge. We explore what we mean by the culture of unified knowledge. We explore the 6 objectives of unified knowledge, and we explore the 10 principles, processes, and protocols of unified knowledge. It's a course for parents and teachers, and the ones with children in class who are doing the pedagogy, big up to you. Those ones have that special advantage of being all around the learning, having access to what's happening in the class, pedagogical reasoning about what's going on, as well as the activities to do and ways to build that in the other elements of the child's learning time. How to make the home, the context of learning. Yeah, that's the pedagogy. Fantastic. Hair structure science. The hair structure science course, we're doing the structure of hair, African hair. Some years ago, we produced a poster, a landmark poster showing a biological cross-section of the hair structure. And this, I've not seen a thing like this with such detail. That's why we produced it. And it's now the anchor point for a course which explains all kinds of detail about hair structure science. And this is now where I wanted to just touch briefly on a particular document that we've been working with. The document is called The Fundamental Properties of Afro-American Hair as Related to Straightening and Relaxing Behavior. It's a science paper produced by Duta Maria Quadrifeg. And please excuse me if I didn't pronounce the last name as well as it could have been done. But this lady, along with her professors, has produced a very detailed report about the effects of various types of relaxing products on hair. But in order to do that analysis, she's also provided a really good analysis of just the basic hair structure and the detail of the experiments used to do the testing that she did. So we're working with this paper. It will be in the WhatsApp group, and we're unpacking this conversation about hair structure. Okay, moving on, because I'm still talking about the insights to the BOU course, and the next one, the final one, is the Dankira Tawagi, African warrior dance. The African warrior dance, it's African martial arts, and it's rhythm based. It's all about freedom of expression. The way it connects into learning is that in learning, in education, from an African place of being, we value mind, body, breath harmonies. Mind, body, breath harmonies. In fact, I know some of you may be thinking, oh, this reasoning's a bit deep. Let me just switch it up just a touch. Let me just give you back the jingle, you know? No, maybe I won't give you the jingle. Well, let me continue. I'll come back to that. People. So, we need mind, body, breath harmonies in education. The key inside of that is breathing. The breath connects the mind and body. It allows you to do extra things with extra endurance, extra kinds of awareness. You can tap into things with different types of breathing to activate the body in a certain way, to activate the mind in a certain way, to bring everything into that zone. So it's at the heart of living, and so it should be at the heart of study for a cadet, for a person engaged in education. And sometimes we say to children, we say, oh, you have to concentrate, learn to concentrate. Why aren't you concentrating? Or where's your determination? Well, you need a breathing for that. There's a breath to help determination. There's a breath for bringing concentration, rulership, self-rulership. There's different types of breathing for those things. So we study those types of breath, and we share them in the Dankira Tawagi. We bring it together in beautiful dance. dance as the African crowned crane, dance as the praying mantis, the Philocrania paradoxa, the African dead leaf mantis. We have those dances, and obviously we have those martial arts. And inside of that is entering the whole ecology, the whole world of the creature, bringing us again into harmony with nature. If we're not studying nature, if we're not doing that, then people drift away, you drift away, you lose sight of things. And so, more than study it, in the Dankira Tawagi we become, we be, and there's a freedom in that being, there's a power in that being. Okay, so that part of the show is the Course Insights, and I'm going to just touch just a little bit of music as we move into the next segment. Thank you all for your WhatsApp messages. We're feeling that. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. But again, those who have not joined in, you need to find our WhatsApp space. The number is 079 30501777. If you can't find it yourself, send me a text message, then I will put you into the space. Get in there so you can get the resources that will give you the deeper connect to this show. We're going to build the show like this. We're going to keep building the show like this. Now, did I mention that I'm the author for a book called Abit's Secret? All this talking about stories, and maybe you're thinking, oh, what does he know about stories? Is he a storyteller? Oh, well, have a listen to this.
That's the infinite knowledge that I can access, but I've kind of capped my well. So I really love it. So seeing it presented now has opened up my will a bit more. I really appreciate it.
Abit's Secret.
What was the target audience primarily? This book is for everybody. If it's early years, you read the story to them and you show them the pictures. And you might think some of these pictures are advanced, but if you're early years, everything is advanced, everything is detailed. You're seeing detail in everything. So it's good for them to see those things at an early age, hear it in a natural story, and later on, as they get older, you unpack it. So it's from early years, even I'm a great fan of the pre-birth season. So if you could have a one that is pre-birth, you read the story. Because it's about space, they're coming into a greater awareness of their space. So it's every age. Every age. For a parent, it's a great insight for a natural, nature-centered way of learning. For a teacher, it's a great resource.
Abit's Secret. Out now.
You need to be fully nourished. This book is one of the things we need to consume.
What I've seen in this book is that this book is revelatory also. So it's not just revolutionary, it's revelatory in terms of each piece of understanding builds a deeper understanding that actually comes from within.
Get your copy at bitsecret.co.uk.
And so it really provides a very deep and very clear step-by-step way for one to learn how to resurrect community.
Resurrect is what is a gold standard, but it's true.
It will be beneficial to the children, depending whether they're small, teenager or elder. Even us adults will learn from this book as well. So,
for more info or orders by phone, call 020-8144-1720.
The book was just amazing. It was a great read through. I just think it's a fantastic book. Bought 2 copies, one for me, one for my grandson. So I just know that it's going to be great. There's a wonderful website as well, and then there will be more books in the series, which I can't wait for.
You hear Grandma? Yeah, Grandma, she can't wait for the next one. A Bit Secrets. By the way, you need to get that book. It's great. I am the author, but it is a great book. It's a revolutionary book. It teaches the core ideas of space. All the GCSE ideas of space, but not just GCSE, deeper. Like I said, Gzat. But we're in a character which is a bit the praying mantis. He's a bit like Anansi, and he goes on a wonderful journey. He's in the world, but he has some friends, Free Winchi, and they discover Abit's. Well, they don't really discover his secrets. I mean, who could really know Abit's secrets? But they discover a load of stuff on the way, and you should find out more about that. Abit's Secret. It's available at abundancecenter.org on our website under courses and resources. You can get it through there, and you can check us. You can check us out. We're coming up to a special part of this show. I mentioned that the 4th part of the show is our weekly special feature, and this special feature is another story, written by Yvonne Williams, Hashima, to you and family. Well done. I enjoyed the Dark and Wild. By the way, we have monthly Dark and Wild events. These are social events at the Chestnut Community Centre where we make presentations on these things, music, food and vibes, with like-minded people. Great social gathering. So at the last one, Yvonne presented the story. We played the story so you could hear it, and we reasoned on it, we discussed it. And this is really the value. Story is one of those 10 principles, processes and protocols that I mentioned earlier on, which is part of the unified knowledge pedagogy. One of the 10 values that we have, or systems that we have for bringing education forward, is embedding knowledge into stories and unpacking it from the story. So Yvonne wrote this story, Behind That Smile. She had received a brief. She had an image of a person, a man, it appeared, behind a fence. And she was invited to write about what that invoked for her. And given her very deep and rich Caribbean heritage, she pulled out a fantastic story. And then we worked together, we integrated it with all of the characters, well, not all of them, but many of the characters in the Dankira Tawagi practice. I mean, just in the stances, we have many characters. There are 7 Ragata stances in the Dankira Tawagi practice. The basic stance, like the tree. Tree is a character. Abit, the mantis. Winchi, the crane. Tawagi, the warrior. Demet, the cat. Azo, the crocodile. Gumere, the hippopotamus. Those are just the ones inside of our stance forms. And each one of those, there's a life and a story for them. So we integrated the story with principles of Dankira Tawagi, other principles of unified knowledge, and it's a cryptic story. It's a cryptic story. So when you listen to it, don't feel any way if you feel like I don't get the story. Don't feel any way about that. It's one of those stories that you should just relax and take it in. And when you've taken it in and you've reflected on it, digest what comes to you afterwards. It's after relaxation. This is one of those stories. Don't bind yourself to trying to solve it. Relax. It's a great story. Behind That Smile. The story features the character Azo, which is crocodile, and in our practice, Azo, it has particular forms. You might think Azo is a vicious creature. No, the creatures are not vicious. Everything has its nature. And so we should free ourselves from the stereotypes of movies and return to nature. Okay, it's coming to time, so let me bring it in.
I smile, but behind that smile there's tears. Behind those tears there's pain. Behind that pain is life. Life anchoring personified. I am the third eye. I'm not blind, but I can't see what the eye can see. I'm trapped. I'm self-incarcerated. I reside behind a wired fence. I sense you in my solitude. I need a connection with you, 'cause I don't remember who I am, where I come from. My name is Asasi Yuduru, also known as Destiny. I live in the undergrowth of time. What you see is what you get with me. I am what I am. I carry the map of time. I establish cause, sourcing the origins of our legacy by my side. As the Ma'at Heartstone, the main function is to support our tree of life. I carry around, through, and with me. The sapwood comprises of the youngest layers of wood. Its network of thick walled cells brings water and nutrients up from the underground roots through invisible tubes embedded deep inside the trunk, which feeds other parts of the body. Outstretch your hand, demanded Asasi. As the third eye followed the instruction instinctively, She-Man could feel an out-of-body experience of being carried. She-Man could now see camouflage, the body map of the tree and space-time magnified. What She-Man was clearly viewing were prefixes and suffixes of root. There was a fixed firm spider, a kola nut, a face supported by a hand, and a skull. Asasi began to sing. Anansi is a spider, Anansi is a man, Anansi is West Indian and West African. Asasi stopped abruptly. Now they stopped parallel to the kola nut. To the human eye, it represented any bitter Circe bush, bitter bark, or arrowroot, all carrying toxins away. What this kola nut truly represents is ceremony, circumstance, and community interchange, exchanged, prevention for cure. Asasi gave She-Man the look. Don't even think about it, she stormed. You must never pluck the kola nut without intention. That's how things fall apart. Asasi exclaimed. Now let's move and embrace the next space. Asasi then continued. Now, third eye, journey beyond the physical. Ah, said the third eye, I feel it. Dunkunu, Shiman exclaimed. Dunkunu? Asasi replied. I may look like a Dunkunu, but looks can be deceiving, yeah. Journey further down my torso, and you will see the alignment doesn't lead to a pair of feet, but tributaries of wood. Anyway, I want you to feel my physique, then go deeper. With your hands, feel eye surface texture. The texture of crocodile skin, not smooth knits, but weathered. The scales are thick and rugged. The head is covered with also thick, entwined, mangled, jeweled, snake-like liquish locks of chitin. The veins of wood formed a magnetic field of electric current ready to ignite. Look and see roots grab onto the ground like your hands outstretched, clasping bark. The range of bark is wide. Now, count my rings. The smell was fresh and wooded. This will explain how long I've been here from a sapling from Alki Bulan, where we sustained orders and harmony with nature. Let me share with you how I gained this etched physique. I call this patterns of a fossilized past. I smile, but behind that smile, there's tears. Behind those tears, there's pain. Behind that pain is life. Life anchoring personified. Long, long ago, the nomad man of Africa had diaspored to our manor. He had uprooted sticks and arrived tired, worn, hungry, and dying of thirst, when the first animal he encountered was the friendly crocodile, Azov. The man was afraid, being delirious, coming face to face with his vicious-looking nightmare. The image of terror before him was a mirage. Azov, the friendly crocodile, saw the dying man and felt compassion. He picked the man up and carried him to the water hole. The crocodile found foliage and filled it with water and gave drink to the man, which in turn saved his life. The man, now energized, was so grateful that he said, "Flesh of my flesh," crying crocodile tears, "I am truly indebted to you, for you have saved my life." The man gave exaltation of his experience to the community of ancient chiefs and ancestor warriors. In turn, the community stipulated that in their orders, the crocodile is now a sacred animal, free to live its life in a special harmony with those being human. The law of nature placed humans as the highest order, but now there was a special connection in transmutive Dankira and all the opportunity that dance brings. UNITY, 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 UNITY. A clause was also inbuilt to say that if the human forgot or became trigger hungry and killed a crocodile, then that would result in earthbound tremors throughout the human community. Over the generations, my Fizog has root up grassroots connection to that crocodile, which is now written on my face. I surface attached, so firmly a part of I, pulled up and expressed from the root, yet it is said by mankind that a little axe can cut down a tall tree. I smile, but behind that smile there's tears. Behind those tears theres pain. Behind that pain is life, life anchoring personified. Assassin moved her hand on the diagonal. They arrived at the skull. She-Man touched the skull. She-Man could feel the eye sockets, the bridge of the nose, and where the grooves of where the teeth must have been. Bad karma eradication. The smell the nostril picked up was suffocating. The ancillary smell was of rotting, and the taste was of decay. Assassi then continued the narration. This skull represents death and mortality. Assassi directed Skull to continue conversing, but the Skull then refused to talk. Have you been drinking root beer again? What skullduggery? Assassi said. A spider crawled from out of one eye socket, dizzily darting away. Assassi concluded, She-Man, I have now not only connected with you, but have shown you the Hisab. What has happened, what is happening, and the pattern of what will happen. At that point, she replaced She-Man gently behind his fence and timelessly disappeared from sight. I smile, but behind that smile there's tears. Behind those tears there's pain. Behind that pain is life. Life anchoring personified.
Yes. Hashima Yvonne, a wonderful story. I love that story. It's a new story for us, but that story, it touches something. And I'd love to hear, well, both of us, all of us, we've been collecting feedback from people who hear the story, how it touches you, what does it invoke for you, what thoughts come to mind. Yes, so you're very welcome to join us in the WhatsApp forum. Big up to Sonia, welcome, and you'll hear more. We can reason on these things further. That will be the space where the unpacking of the show takes place. I've posted in those images, by the way. I hope you're enjoying them. The images of the sun, the sunsets with the 3 planetary points, and also the solar system view with the same 3 planets, so you can see how they are in their orbital position. I've posted in there the guides that I've mentioned, the one on hair. That research report is 176 pages, but it's fantastic. It's a deep report, and we're unpacking it. You may look at it and think, oh, this is too much, it's too technical, I don't know, I don't get it. But if you're in our course, we're simplifying this thing so you can pull out of it the essence of the ideas and meaningfully start to understand your own hair structure. Imagine that. Hair made of keratin protein. Protein made from amino acids. Very important. Very important. These things are the building blocks. So if we learn about it through hair, then actually we've learnt about some fundamental things. Anyway, we can reason on that. So that story there, behind that smile, again, big up to Yvonne, fantastic story. We will be doing such things, special features. Not every week will be a story, but perhaps some guests. I'm looking forward to having guests on the show. It's a late shift, but I know some ones that would be happy to rise up in the Bless studio. You're tuned in to blessradio.co.uk. Bless Radio, and this is Astamari. This is Astamari Bartekun. You can call me Astamari. This is Astamari from the Black Open University. I am the chair for Abundant Centres UK Development Trust. We're a learner cooperative, and this means developing many bodies of learnership, groups that know what they want to learn, whether you be a home education collective, a collective of teachers, a collective of parents, different kinds of structures. But we're an umbrella organisation for that, and this pedagogy, unified knowledge, is at the heart of our work. It forms a central agreement. We're coming upon the time. I did ask my beloved brother Omawale to hold some space for me while we were setting up for the beginning of the show. So I hope you won't mind if we go just a couple of minutes more into a point. I wanted to share a word with you. I hope you enjoy the word. We're building up to a festival in spring. It's a uLearn Naturally Creative Learning Festival. We're going to have some fantastic events, fantastic speakers. Brilliant. So, these things, I want you to be ready for them. And one of the things we do have is a nice rap about mathematics. Boring. No, it's not boring. Can you imagine that? A rap about mathematics. I know, that doesn't sound like it could be any good, huh? Well, we're learning it in the school. The cadets are learning it. And because they're learning it, and the rap is not just silly banter. The rap contains all the classic ideas of mathematics and all the big ideas of mathematics. So when we go through it, the cadets, and most of them, they tell me that they don't just like it, they tell me that they love it. So when we go through it and they're feeling the vibes and the lyrics are impressed upon them, immediately they then have this rap that lets them hold all of the subjects in their mind. But our work is deeper than that. Even we place these points of knowledge into what we call the Mantis memory matrix, a virtual cube that one can stand in or create in front of themselves and place things you want to memorize into its key points. We're going deep. I told you, it's a revolutionary show. I'm not joking. You can't joke about with African revolution because plenty people are dying. People are dying out of tricks of currency, where economies make the currency flow away from your nations so they're poorer than themselves. Tricks of education, where millions of children are trapped in the foundation tier and they don't know. They leave school and didn't even know that it was a trick. It's like a war. It's like a battle out there. People, you need to think carefully about what's happening. We need change. Revolution means change. We need change. So we've got this rap, and I could do these things all night. I love the rap business, poetry, spoken word. It's wonderful. But I want to bring this one. I want to bring this forward. So let me see what we can do. We got a technician. We got a dodgy yellow button. When I touch it, it cut in and out, and I'm sure the listeners don't like that. So I pull it down fast. I've pulled it down. We're new to the studio, so every studio has those dodgy buttons, those ones. Anyway, we'll get past that. And yeah. So this rap, it's called What's the Big Idea? I'll let you feel the beat, Get with it, get with it. Original, begin, start from the heart, my art, true indeed. I see, I feel, mathematics, matrix, institute, patterns, one Yes, family. That's how we're doing it. So, to all you originals, this is how we're doing the mathematics at the Black Open University. This is level being 9 work, and that which you just heard contains the 6 classic ideas of mathematics. The question, origin. What is the origin? What is origin about? Ma'at, inside of which is proof. Mathematics, what is mathematics? The study and application of patterns. Then, qutr, number. Look, measure, kafil, ratio. The first 6. Then on to the big ideas, which the show's finished now, so we can't do that now. Next week, we will explore these things further. It has been fantastic. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. These things are really, what can I say? They're too much fun. They're too much fun. Here on Bless Radio, this has been Astamari Batekun. And you've been tuned into the Black Open University show. We're gonna sign out with just a little thing, a little something for you to think about. I think you've had a lot to think about, but you know, we like to squeeze it in. We like to squeeze it in. I see some of you are interested in the hair structure science course. So let's just touch on that. Just a little touch on that.
Mother Africa texturized our hair.
I love my hair. I love my hair.
Mother Africa texturized our hair.
I love my hair. I love my hair. I love my hair.
Well,
Yeah. So, you see how we love our hair? So we love it. Just a thing about the hair, briefly. I know it's time. We're past the time. But just one last sort of touch on that hair business. Because the thing about the hair is that the essence of it, the keratin protein, is made of amino acids. And the amino acids, they coil. They make this coil, which is termed as the alpha helix. So it has an alpha helix design. And that coil, it makes a structure that then coils with itself. And then that thing makes a structure, and then that thing coils again with its partner. And the hair is full of these coiling structures. And out of the African head, what does it do? It continues to coil. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic design. A design that we shouldn't disrespect. We should get behind it and keep on with the alpha helix design to know what is the purpose of that? Our course is like this. Our course is built for that. So I'm going to roll out on some fella. This is it has been the Black Open University show. We've completed our 2-hour slot. We're now 12 minutes past 12, but we started a little bit past the time. I hope you can forgive us for that. Yeah, we're going to roll in with fella. We're rolling into the next time zone. Do your homework, people. Download the guide, the code book. Join into the WhatsApp forum. Enroll in the courses. And let's build this thing. Black Open University.
gentleman at all. I no be 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 gentleman at all at all.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
Them call you, make you con chop. You chop small. You say you belly full. You say you be gentleman. You go hungry. You go suffer. You go quench. Me, I no be gentleman like that.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
You dey go your way, the Jaja way. Somebody come bring original trouble. You no talk, you no act. You say you be gentleman. You go suffer, you go tire, you go quench. Me, I no be gentleman like that.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
Africa hot, I like her, I'm so. I know what to we are, but my friends don't know. He put him socks, he put him shoe, he put him pant, he put him singlet, he put him trouser, he put him shirt, he put him tie, he put him coat. He come cover all within heart. He be gentleman, he go sweat all over, he go faint right down. He go smell like shit. He go peaceful, but he not gonna know. I not be gentleman like that.
I be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
I no be gentleman at all at all.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
I be African man, original.
I no be gentleman at all.
Da 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 da.
Zir Yimasagan Hashima Tawagi Asab, creator be praised, respect the warrior idea.
Build deep and complete.
Do you know of the water of life?
What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Original again, start from the heart. Not art, too in deep. I see, I feel. Mathematics, matrix, institutes, patterns. 1, 2, 3, you learn naturally. Classic.
Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Rebuilding education from an African place of being. Welcome to the Black Open University Show. Building education from an African place of being.